Everybody wants a deal, right? I don't care what you're buying, a car, maybe a lawnmower. And now more than ever, people are looking for a deal when it comes to buying their next home. Something that 30 months ago, 2 years ago, even heck, 7 months ago, a deal was just having your offer accepted. But times have changed and they've changed rapidly. So what is a deal in today's market? What does that look like? And how are the clients I work with getting a deal when it comes to buying their home? Well, first I want to start with a story, and these are clients that I worked with this year that just closed on the home, and they were looking to buy a home last year. They wrote several offers. They were with another agent at the time, and none of those offers got accepted. They got beat out time and time again. They just couldn't compete, and they were willing to forego a lot of things, bring more money to closing than they thought. But this time, the market has changed. We employed some different strategies and we were able to get that deal they were looking for. And we're gonna talk about that later in this video, what that deal looked like, the structure of it, and how we were able to make that happen. But first, looking at the market as a whole. Now we all know the market shot up, not just here in Phoenix Metro, but across the country. I mean, it was things that honestly unprecedented of what we're seeing with the rapid growth of appreciation, especially again here in Phoenix. We led the nation in year-over-year appreciation. Now that has changed, and Phoenix I think is leading in year-over-year in increase in listing inventory, and really it's not even year-over-year. The amount of homes we've put on the market in the last 2 months has been insane compared to what we have had. Now I look at mainly single family detached. Now yes, I don't there are your condos, townhomes, everything else in manufactured, but when I'm looking at numbers, one of the main things I look at is the single family detached homes. That's your typical house. Now back a year ago, we had 2,000, 3,000 homes for sale, which is insane. Normally there's 25, 27,000 homes on the market. Well, just today, for the first time, we hit 16,200. So we are well beyond that. Now we did rush up and we were hovering around the 15,000, 15,007 mark for single family detached. And I was wondering, like, all right, do we ramp up and stop and we're not gonna go any higher? But then all of a sudden this week, we jumped above 16,000. So that brings a lot of opportunities, and especially comparing it to where we were before, supply and demand, obviously, basics. And I'm not an economist, I'm a former cop and detective turned real estate agent, but even I understand that. So if you are a buyer looking to buy a home now, or maybe you bought one 6, 12 months ago, you understand you have a lot more options now. And that is great for a lot of reasons. One, more options gives you more things to look at. You're not feeling so much stuck or having FOMO, and now you actually have some power, some leverage when it comes to putting an offer on a home and what it is you're getting. I want to say you have some demands to be made, but my clients, especially the ones I'm going to talk and finish the story on later, they were able to make a deal and it worked out really, really well for them. And we have these homes that are sitting on the market. And some of these sellers, they feel like they missed out because they did not get their home on the market sooner. But you have to look at this, in another light also. So some of these homes, say they're bought, 2010. So I know one bought in 2010 for 140,000, and right now is honestly worth 430. So yeah, maybe they're listed at 475 and they feel like they've completely missed and they're having to do price reductions and they feel like, oh my gosh, the prices are coming down. But look at the benchmark of where that value has gone. So the value has risen quite a bit. But what we're seeing are sellers who are stuck back in thinking what they could have gotten for their home, and they're not adjusting with the market. And they're not, competing. They're not putting themselves in a position to compete. So if you're looking to buy a home in this market, look at properties that have sat on the market for 70 plus days. Those are the ones that I would be looking at and think, how can I get in there and get that deal? And when I say deal, it's either going to be, getting a lower price and concessions. If you can negotiate concessions, and depending on how you use those concessions, say you want to negotiate 3% of the sales price, and depending on what type of financing you're doing, but using that money to purchase down your interest rate, that'd be a great way to combat these higher rates. Then as a buyer, you're probably feeling some FOMO also, because you did not get locked in with a 2.5% rate that we were given that gift of, which kind of led to a lot of the issues. But using the seller concessions to buy down the rate, or maybe pay PMI, or all sorts of things that is easing your burden on your monthly payment or how much you need to bring to closing. So that is one strategy I love to use, is looking at homes that are on the market for a little bit longer and then coming in with a lower price. Also, something to look at is vacant homes. So typically with vacant homes, either the seller has already moved, or maybe it is an absentee owner, someone who owns the property but does not live in it. Think of Airbnb, long-term rental, or maybe it's just a winter home for someone, which is so common here in Arizona. When you look at those people have already made that decision that they want to cash in. Now, a lot of times they bought those properties before these values have shot up, so they have a decent amount of equity and they can afford to sell at a lower price. Something else to look at is the price reductions. For the longest time we didn't see price reductions on properties that often, but now it is a lot. We're seeing, and I'm going to look it up right now, so bear with me. In the last week in our market, 4,405 price reductions. So that's a huge number, something that we're just not used to, but sellers, at least they understand, hey, we're testing the market is not agreeing with our price, so at least they're motivated there to price it where it needs to be in accordance with the market. But if I'm a buyer and I see a home I like and I'm keeping an eye on it and I'm seeing price reduction, maybe they're just waiting for that buyer to come in with an offer. I've had a lot of sellers I work with who were so stubborn, they're like, we're not gonna lower the price. If someone wants to pay, we'll just say a home was $500 and it really needs to be $450. I've had sellers say, well, we'll take $450, but we don't want to price it there. Someone will offer that. But a lot of times sellers don't understand that a buyer isn't going to offer that if they don't think it'll be accepted. But now when you start seeing people do reductions like that, it gives buyers more incentive, more belief that their offer of that much lower price has a better chance of getting accepted. So keep an eye on homes that are reduced. And something else to look at, and this is a great strategy to get a home, get that deal on the next home you buy. Look at homes that come off the market, the fallout rate. The fallout rate on homes now is even more so because buyers understand they're not stuck, they're not married to that home because they are in control. There are more options. Here in Arizona, mostly, on our contract, we have 10 days to do our due diligence, do inspections. I don't want to say back out for any reason, but almost buyers can back out for almost any reason. But look at homes that are falling off the market. So think from a seller's perspective. They have their home under contract and typically they're not getting any more showings. And then the buyer cancels. And now they have to go back and put it back on the contract to try and entice another buyer. And the average days on market right now is growing, so they've probably had it on the market longer. Well, look at those homes that have came from off market to back on market because they've fallen out. You might have a greater opportunity to get in there and get a deal, whether that be a lower price, concessions, or both, depending on what terms or what it is you need to make that property yours. One of my greatest tools, tricks that I like to find out, I want to know the motivation of the seller. When I'm talking to that listing agent on behalf of my buyers and I'm doing the due diligence of research, finding out any bit of information I can. Now, that listing agent doesn't have to tell me a lot, but like I said, I was a detective in my past life. I use some of those skills when it comes to real estate. So I'll find out everything I can about that seller. I want to know why they're moving. And sometimes greater motivation, I'll let my buyers know this is going to be one where we can negotiate more because this seller must sell. They have to sell. They want to relocate. They want to go. They're tired of the heat in Phoenix. They want to go live in the mountains. I'll also look at their social media. I'll try and find everything I can about that seller. Who knows what people say on social media, but usually they say way too much. Do everything I can to find out as much as I can about that seller for my client. That way we can come in and get my clients a great deal because that is who I work for, is my clients. And if I can get them a deal on the house that they want, they're happy. And at the end of the day, if the seller doesn't have to accept anything, so we're not trying to manipulate or steal, do anything wrong, but also that listing agent should probably do a better job and not divulge some of the information that they do. I mean, I had some clients who bought in a great area in Buckeye, and the listing agent pretty much told me the bottom dollar they would take, and it was shockingly, I mean, I couldn't believe we were able to get it for this price. And this was before the market shifted. We got it for $25,000 off the original list price. And even my clients were, I mean, surprised. The appraisal came way over value. But again, it's just asking questions, and who knows what that listing agent may tell us. And it worked out well for my clients, and they were able to get into a great home, definitely not overpay. And now they are set with a home that has appreciated nicely. And as you look at the stats, so year over year at the highest, I think Phoenix Metro had like a 39% growth in appreciation. Huge, right? And a lot of people are saying, oh, the market is still up. It is up when you look at that, but it is going smaller and smaller. Now, I'm not one of these, the sky is falling type people, but our monthly average and median, they're going down from where they were last quarter. And they're still up from a year ago, but that number, that the prices are dropping some. It's just because supply and demand, basics. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Oh, before I forget, getting back to my clients who a year ago wrote offers, weren't able to get anything, get nothing, and come out of pocket with a ton of money. Well, this year when they started working with me, we used some of these tactics, and we got them under contract. One offer, $8K seller credit. I think they're bringing $200 to closing. And again, just by utilizing the market we're in, these tactics, these strategies, and that way they're happy. So again, these are how I would recommend looking for a deal in the Arizona housing market right now in 2022. It'll be interesting to see what 2023 brings, what the future holds. For now, I'm enjoying seeing more homes hit the market and giving my buyers kind of, a little bit of breathing room so they don't have to make a decision right now. And if you're thinking about doing the same, reach out, send me an email, a phone call, drop me some comments. Any way I can help you. If you're even thinking about it, and I'm never one to pressure someone and they must buy now, because let's face it, it may not be the best time for you to buy now, but at least explore that option, see what that looks like, put you in touch with a great lender also. But if you have any questions, reach out, happy to help. Watch these next videos here, and I will see you on the next one. Rich, Brecklin, Real Broker, Arizona Life.